This review has been made possible by Toyota of Naperville. As you know, Toyota has tons of brand new Toyotas available for purchase, but did you know that they also have a remarkable selection of used cars? Head on over to toyotaofnaperville.com and look through hundreds of used cars for sale right now.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2013 Ford C-Max Hybrid. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4 as well as a hybrid drive system, and down below is a CVT. Now I'm excited to be driving this here C-Max because I don't really have any experience with them. I think that they're interesting. They sort of look like a Ford Focus, sort of look like a Ford Transit. They're a nice in-between, and really this is a product of Ford's European division. This is really a European car that us Yankees seem to have somehow gotten, and I'm excited to see what it's like. Let's get back to that hybrid drive system. Like I said, 2.0 liter inline 4, as well as a 1.4 kilowatt hour battery pack, meaning that this vehicle can actually travel on just EV power up until 62 miles an hour. So around town and for small trips, little bursts here and there, you can actually run this vehicle on hybrid only, which is nice, and the gauge will actually tell you when you're on battery packs or not, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the interior. The actual driving experience is quite nice. And before we get too far from it, 42 miles to the gallon in the city, 37 on the highway, because of course the highway is using that gasoline engine, and around town you can utilize the electric motor, which is why the highway is actually lower. The actual driving experience is okay. I like the ergonomics of the car. I like the way the car feels. I like the way it handles. However, the CVT, or continuously variable transmission, is slightly weird, and the fact that the gasoline engine kicks on, kicks off, kicks on, kicks off, kicks on, kicks off, back and forth, it's a little bit odd mechanically, but if you have your music up, you're not going to really notice any of it. That being said, it is slow. However, it is torquey because of that electric motor, so it feels like you're accelerating quick when you're not. And that's the winning combo for anyone who doesn't want to get a ticket. We're warmed up out here on the test track. I don't think I have any drive modes, so you'll see what I mean here. It's definitely not fast. Yeah, as all my things fly. These brakes are insane. These brakes are really, really touchy. Watch. That was like half. But anyway, it's not fast. 0 to 60 is like 8.8 seconds or something. It's not fast. Last but not least about the drivetrain, of course, the C-Max is front-wheel drive. There is no all-wheel drive C-Max. Now let's talk about the interior. We have some interesting things to go through in here. Well, in front of me, I have a physical gauge along with some digital screens. So in the center, I get my speedometer. This is the traditional gauge. Looks like every Ford product I've ever driven. On the left, I actually have a screen right now because I'm on my brakes. It is showing me my brake coach, but I'll cycle through a bunch of different things in here, which is interesting because up at the top, it has some interesting titles like Empower, Engage, and Enlighten, names of the gauges, which is kind of interesting. Of course, vehicle range and inform and things like that. I really like that screen off to the left. And on the right, I have my entertainment screen, as well as like compass, outside temperature, and things of that nature. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my selector for the left screen, as well as cruise control, and on the right, I have my controls for the right screen, as well as my phone options, skip track, and volume. I like the overall look of the steering wheel. I like the feel of the steering wheel. I think this is sort of a sportier feeling steering wheel, just with how many shapes, and it has hard angles on it, which I really, really like. To the left of me, I have my headlight switches, and on the door, I have my power locks up top, power mirrors, and then my power windows. Moving into the center, I do have a CD player up at the top, as well as my sync badge. And then I have the infotainment system. All right, so let's talk Ford infotainment. I do have this nice sort of menu here, and it is touchscreen, and I can select a couple different things. I like this. This is our sort of hybrid screen, and it's showing me the electric motor, batteries on due to charge, drive, fuel, battery. It shows me a bunch of really cool things here in the center, and I really, really like that. However, the thing that I don't like is the fact that the touchscreen, the buttons are down at the bottom, and there's this big sort of bumper out front of it. So if you have long fingernails, this is going to be very challenging for you. and you got to kind of come in at an angle, or I have short fingernails, so it's fine, but it's just a little bit annoying, and this is just for audio. This is not for controlling the center screen, which is a little bit of a disappointment. That being said, I can go to like vehicle, valet mode, vehicle health report, bada bing, bada boom, go back here, display clock help. This is my home. Obviously, if I turn the radio on, it would appear here, connecting a phone, navigation, things like that. And unfortunately, this does not have a backup camera. This is 2013, before they were federally mandated, and I would have liked to have seen that because the back is a little harder to see out of just because of the roof line and smaller windows. However, not the end of the world, of course, but just something I would have liked to have seen. Before we get on with the rest of the review, I want to give a huge thank you to Fixed. Fixed is a Bluetooth OBD2 sensor for your car. You can plug it into any OBD2 vehicle, which is a vehicle manufactured after 1996, and you can take a look at your gauges, you can keep an eye on your temperature, you can see your speed, you can time your 0 to 60. There's tons of really cool features that will pair directly to your smartphone, and it gives you great insight on your vehicles. Fixed is giving my viewers a hefty discount, so click the link in the description below, get your own Fixed OBD2 Bluetooth sensor, and start learning more about your car. Down below the infotainment is the climate control options. I do have dual zone, which is very, very nice, as well as automatic, but it's pretty simple other than that, nothing really too crazy. Then I have the shifter itself, very typical Ford shifter here. However, on the shifter on the left, I actually have like a hill descent mode, which is interesting. And as for downhills, will help with regenerative braking and things of that nature. Moving on to the center console itself, I have a 12-volt outlet as well as 2 heated seat options for the driver and the passenger. And then I have a cup holder. So, big friggin' bottle test. And unfortunately, it sort of slides in, but when I take a corner, it does not hold itself in very well. So, the 2013 Ford C-Max Hybrid fails the big friggin' bottle test. Center console, I do have 2 USB in, as well as a 12-volt outlet and connectors to play video on the center screen. So you get the yellow, white, and red connectors. So if you want to plug in a PlayStation 2, I guess you can. All right, a few things I want to mention up above my head. First of all, I do have this nice sunshade that will actually come out and of course shade me from the sun. But also, I have this little paint palette button, and this will change the color of the mood lighting here in the C-Max. Last but not least, if we come over here, there's actually a nice light up above the driver and the passenger. I really like that up here, very, very useful. The seats are decently comfortable. Like I said, they're heated, as well as the driver's seat is power, and I don't really have too much to say about them. I think they're very, very presentable. I think they look really good, and that's a big, big key factor. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2013 Ford C-Max Hybrid, and legroom is great, headroom is great. Really, really love that. I do have this little sort of trash bin down here. I'm not quite sure if that's factory, but I have it. And I do have a wall outlet, 110 volt, 150 watt outlet back here. So you really can plug in a PlayStation 2 if you really wanted to. Center console, I do have 2 cup holders that flip out. And then, of course, I get to enjoy this giant glass roof. Really, really love that. It does have a shade that'll go over it as well. But overall, the back seat is really, really cool. And one last thing I want to point out is down in the floor, I actually have some storage compartments. Now, they're not huge, but the more storage, the better. Let's go take a look at the hatch, speaking of storage. All right, around the back of the C-Max on this windy day, and here we are. Now, these are the WeatherTech floor mats that'll come with this car because it is a used vehicle. I do have a 12-volt outlet back here. Absolutely love that. It's one of my favorite things that I look for in vehicles like this. I also have this pull-out privacy cover, so you can hide things, but also you can slide it away really easily. Interestingly, the floor is like kind of raised, and I do have this storage compartment down here, which is kind of interesting. I guess kind of useful. Oh, thanks for the funnel, Ford. But I really, really like the rear cargo space. I think with 4 people in the car and this filled up, you can fit everything very, very comfortably. And that is a huge advantage over the Ford Focus. Now we gotta talk about the looks. I think this car is very odd looking. It kind of looks like a Ford Focus had a big lunch. It reminds me a lot of the Mazda 5 as well, which was Mazda's minivan from the 2000s, which actually makes a lot of sense because the Mazda 5 was built by Ford. That was in the era of where Ford actually owned Mazda. And so now we have to get on to my final thoughts on the Ford C-Max. Well, I have to say, in terms of hybrids that I've driven, this is one of the better ones for sure. I really like the handling aspects of it. It drives like a car and yet has storage features like a crossover. It's well equipped. I like the heated seats and I like the infotainment. I think it all works really well. I love this glass roof. Really love that fact. And overall, I'm just really happy with it. Great MPG. You can drive around in EV mode, which is fantastic. And really the only downside I could see is the fact that Fords down the line sometimes tend to have reliability issues. This being a Ford, I don't know how happy I'd be with that, but maybe this is different. The C-Max is one of the best hybrids I've ever driven. If I had to get a hybrid, I think this would be close to the top of my list. I don't know, I just really like it. It feels really good, and I really like the Ford Focus, and I really like the Ford Transit, so it makes sense. It really does. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Ford C-Max. They're not only selling great used cars, but they will also buy your used car if you are looking to sell without needing to buy one of their vehicles. You can just straight sell them your car. They are looking to find new inventory. They're absolutely awesome. Their information is up on the screen, so please go check them out. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.